그럼 누가 한국말이 쉽다고 했던가요? Who said learning Korean was easy? 알면 알수록 어려운 하지만 그래서 더 재밌는 우리말 정말 달라. We have our one and only 통역 전문가 임상혁님 here in the studio. 안녕하세요.
안녕하세요, 푸니타 씨. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday, Simon. Good to have you in the studio.
Me too. Thanks for having me again.
Of course. I heard you had a pretty long day today.
Yes, I left Pocheon on 4 p.m. and it took me like more than 3 hours because I was caught up in traffic.
Oh, incredible drive. But Pocheon is a great place.
Right.
It's a good place to escape the city. Sometimes if you want to get some fresh air or a little bit colder air, going over to Pocheon might be great. But it seems like we're talking about traveling a little bit today, no?
So do you love railway travel, Punita?
I think I've only rode the train a couple times.
Only a couple of times?
Yeah, only
really?
a couple times here in Korea. I should do it a little bit more, but 생각보다 기차 여행도 비싸더라고요.
맞아요.
And it's not
싸지는 않아요.
Yeah, and some people say it's sometimes you can get a flight cheaper than the KTX and things like that. So, yeah, I would love to go down to Busan or even Gyeongju down the train. It's still on the bucket list.
Oh, yeah. So when I entered college, I went to railway travel with my buddies because at the time, the government actually provided a special discount on the college students so that they can travel across Korea riding trains and other railway trains. So I used to travel like from Seoul to Daejeon to Busan to Yeosu. It took like 3 weeks to go all around the routes. So it was really memorable.
Yeah, how fun is that? But I remember like a few friends that came over to Korea around 10 years ago. They all said the same thing. 그때가 좋았어요.
맞아요.
Because they had this like what would you call it? Like unlimited pass that they had and 그걸로 하루 종일 or like I don't know, you can just ride the KTX unlimited times.
The youth premium.
Youth premium이었어요. 그러니까요.
맞아요.
지금은 없어졌지만 그때가 좋았던 것 같아요.
그렇습니다.
Yeah, but in any case, it seems like we're talking a little bit more about trains today.
Yeah, so today I brought some expressions that are related to roads, railways, and bridge. So in English-speaking countries, there are many idioms that have terms related to roads and streets.
Yeah.
So today I will get you right on track with expressions that I brought with easy peasy expressions.
좋습니다. Well, speaking of which, right on track.
So right on track means that you were actually off track, which means that you lost your balance or maybe you lost your daily routine and your normal patterns.
Right.
And if you get back on track, you're returning to the normal trajectory, returning to normalcy. 그래서 이제 평소에 잘 일상을 살아가다가 갑자기 뭔가 사건 사고가 생겨서 뭐 예를 들어서 몸이 아프거나 사랑하는 사람과 이별을 했다거나 그러면은 우리 일상에 좀 변화가 오잖아요. 네.
그렇죠.
그럴 때 이제 we are off the track이라고 해서 내가 다시 이제 정상 생활을 할 수 없다라는 의미로 off the track이라고 하고 근데 get back on track이라고 하면은 you're returning to the normal track, normal trajectory. 다시 이제 그 슬픔에서 벗어나서 회복을 해서 다시 정상 궤도로 오다라고 이제 또 표현이 됩니다. So, for example, after a long fight, me and my girlfriend is trying to get back on track after a sincere apology. 그래서 저랑 제 여자친구랑 엄청 싸웠어요.
True story인가요?
A bit of like 50% fiction and 50% non-fiction. Okay. 그래서 저랑 여자친구랑 싸워가지고 이제 다시 또 화해를 한 거죠. 제가 먼저 미안해라고 해가지고 이제
됩니다.
We are now back on track이라고 하면 다시 이제 예전에 그 정상적이었던 관계로 돌아왔다라고 해석이 됩니다.
That's great. I mean, you can use this expression in so many different ways. Like, for example, if I get distracted, 뭐 이 일에 집중을 해야 되는데 다른 일에 집중하게 되면, oh my gosh, I'm getting off track. 그러면 다시 let me get back on track 할 수도 있고. Or if someone's distracting you, then you can say, oh no, we're getting sidetracked. We're getting off track. 뭐 sidetrack이든지 off track이든지 그 track에 있는 게 아니기 때문에 바로 on track으로 하는 게 정상이죠.
그렇죠. 그리고 like you mentioned, especially when you're studying for an exam,
Right.
you often get off the track.
원인은 핸드폰이죠.
그렇죠. Like smartphones.
Yep.
And if you have like a PC in your room,
Yep.
then obviously you want to do some games, online games.
사실 뭐 핸드폰도 아니었어요. 우리 때는 핸드폰도 없었잖아요.
그렇죠, 그렇죠.
It's just anything.
그냥 시험 기간 때는 공부를 빼고 모든 게 다 재밌어요. 모든 게 다 재밌어요.
Whatever isn't your textbooks, you can just get distracted. But in any case, getting back on track, hopefully you guys, if you guys are studying or working even till this late night, you can get back on track to your studies and your assignments. All right, well, let's take a look at the next one.
Okay, so the second expression is ride out the storm. 어려운 역경을 헤쳐나가다.
Uh-huh.
So a few weeks ago, we talked about climate and
Right.
weather. And at the time, I showed you some expression like the eye of the storm, which means the epicenter of a crisis or
맞아요.
a problem. Now, if you ride out the storm, it means that you break through the difficulties or challenges. You finally see the sunlight in the end. And so you basically go directly through the middle of the storm and find peace after you get out. 그래서 그 태풍의 눈이 뭔가 그 문제나 어려움의 중심이라면 여기 ride out the storm은 태풍을 완전히 가로질러서 어려운 역경을, 어려운 비바람을 헤쳐나간다라는 뜻으로 이게 해석이 될 수 있습니다. For example, if another financial crisis occurs, then only big companies will ride out the storm.
This is true.
네, 맞죠. 그래서 실제로 경기가 이제 불황일 때, 그리고 이제 경제 위기가 또다시 닥치게 된다면 이제는 이제 매우 큰 대기업들만 살아남고 중소기업들이나 소상공인, 작은 규모의 회사들은 살아남지 못할 거다라고 해석이 되네요.
맞아요. 그래서 다 유튜브로 들어가잖아요. 애나 어른이나.
Right.
You know, and even like these restaurants, small restaurants, they tend to do TikTok. And 그래서 소셜 미디어 굉장히 중요하대요.
맞아요.
그러면서도 하기가 귀찮아가지고 you know, 굉장히 부지런해야 돼요.
맞아요. 저도 근데 실제로 주변에서 브이로그 한번 찍어봐라
네.
라고 많이들 하는데 제가 그래서 카메라까지 다 샀어요. 다
그렇죠.
사고
귀여워.
이렇게 찍다가 한 10분쯤 돼서 너무 창피해가지고 다시 내려왔어요.
맞아요.
Because I was so embarrassed. It makes me cringe.
Yeah, but it's actually fun. 그 프로젝트를 보면은 재밌긴 재밌거든요.
재밌는데 그거를
실제로 하면은
네.
it's 못해.
So I really respect the vloggers,
Yeah.
those who like film their vlogs.
이게 컨디션 따라 다르거든요. So sometimes I can go like, yeah, okay, 이게 내 일이니까 할 수 있다. 근데 막 like 병원에 가면은 아니 뭐 엘리베이터를 타는데 아니면 you know like when so many people are around you but it's quiet. 그럴 때는 너무 창피해가지고
맞아요.
하기가 어렵더라고요.
막 식당에서 남들 다 밥 먹고 있는데 나 혼자 이렇게 찍으면서 혼잣말로 자 여기 보세요 이러면 어떤 느낌인지 아시죠?
맞아요. 근데 보면은 이해는 해요. 그런 사람 주변에.
I do understand.
I do. So I don't know why. It's just so 부끄럽더라고요. 그래서 as you said, much respect.
Yeah, I really respect them.
Well, in any case, we're getting sidetracked. We're getting
okay.
off track of the topic.
So let's get back on track and let me introduce the third expression, which is hot on the trail.
네.
이게 무언가 목표나 목적을 아니면 내가 찾던 것을 막 이제 잡으려는 그 순간을 이제 나타냅니다. So
네네.
hot on the trail means that you are almost close to catching someone or something and that you are about to reach your objective. For example, the journalist was not hot on the trail to find out who was dating the celebrity. 그래서 이 기자가 어떤 연예인 뭐 예를 들어서 여배우가 있는데 이 사람이 누군가를 데이트하는 것 같아. 그래서 내가 찾아야겠다 해서 이제 그 여배우의 교제 상대를 이제 막 찾을 그 시점이 hot on the trail이라고
네.
할 수 있는 것이죠. 그래서 막 이제 내가 뭐 범인을 잡거나,
Right.
if, for example, if a police is about to catch the criminal, then that is he's on the hot on the trail.
Okay, so can it be something like I want to achieve something? Or is it more towards I'm trying to find something?
It's more like you're trying to find something that
Okay.
you have been longing for.
Okay, okay. So 쇼핑을 하는데 이제 뭐 검정색 구두를 찾고 싶은데 너무 없는 거예요. 근데 한 구두집을 갔는데 뭔가 있는 것 같은데요. It seems like I'm hot on the trail for some black shoes.
And then you finally
found it.
found it.
그 기분도 너무 좋죠.
그쵸, 그쵸.
Hot on the trail.
Okay, so and the next expression, I'm pretty sure that many of you heard of this expression. Kick the can down the road.
Yeah.
그래서 이게 사실 옛날에 그 뭐 한국이든 어느 뭐 미국이든 어디든 사실 아이들이 그 깡통차기 놀이 되게 많이 했거든요.
그렇죠, 그렇죠.
So it was like the children's play, and if you kick the can down the road, you actually kick the can to the opposite end of the road, but actually the can does not disappear. 그래서 여기서 캔을 뭔가 골치 아픈 문제라고 생각을 하면 골치 아픈 문제를 이제 잠시 미루는 건데 그게 완전히 disappear, 없어지는 건 아니에요. 그 문제가 아직은 거기 있어요. So it means that you are hiding something under a carpet for a while because you just don't want to face it.
오케이. 어떤 느낌인지 알 것 같아요. 그 캔을 버려야 되는데 or
Right.
you gotta figure out a solution for this can. 근데 이것도 아니고 저것도 아니고 그냥 키킹하면은 또 걷다가 또 있어. 그러면 키킹하다가 걷다가 또 있어.
맞아요.
그런 느낌이죠.
Yeah, so for example, raising interest rate will not easily solve the current economic crisis. The government is just kicking the can down the road.
Yeah.
그래서 again, 그래서 경제가 위기가 왔는데 그래서 이제 정부에서는 금리를 인상했습니다. 근데 이거는 임시 방편일 뿐이지 temporary is a temporary method.
Right.
경기는 계속 나빠질 것이다.
Right.
경제는 계속 나빠질 것이다. 라고 할 수 있겠네요.
This is what we call a band-aid solution as well.
Oh, really?
It's not like 어떤 치료는 아니지만 그냥 밴드에만 붙이는
맞아요.
그런 치료라고 해야 되나요?
그래서 그냥 잠깐 덮어두는 거죠.
맞아요.
네.
Getting a little more depressed as we talk about the economy.
Actually, I'm broke these days.
그러니까요. 경제 얘기하니까 또 그러는데요. Well, in any case, let's take a quick song break before we continue on. Taking a look at some interesting phrases and expressions all to do with the road, the track, especially if you love train travel. Then take a listen to this song. 시간이 좀 있어가지고 재밌는 노래 붙여드리겠습니다. Buster Poindexter, Hit the Road, Jack. That was Hit the Road, Jack. 오랜만에 이 노래를 들어봤는데요. Brings us in the mood of traveling a little bit more, kicking the can down the road, riding up the storm, getting back on track. All these interesting and fun idioms and expressions having to do with traveling. Mm-hmm. We have Simon here in the studio. What's our next expression?
Okay, so the next expression is where the rubber meets the road. Now, when automakers test their new launched cars, they have to test the cars whether they operate or function properly on the roads. 그래서 이 신차 테스트를 할 때요, 이 고무로 돼 있잖아요, 타이어가. 그 고무 타이어가 도로를 만나는 지점부터 이제 진가를 발휘하고 얘가 쓸만한지 쓸모가 없는지 그것을 판단할 수 있는 그 시점을 얘기합니다. So this expression means that you are at a moment when you prove a theory or show the real practical side of something or someone.
네.
그래서 한국어로는 이게 진가를 발휘하다라는 뜻으로 해석이 돼요. So you are showing your capacity, your capabilities that you're worth it.
예, 말만 하다가 이제는 이제 행동으로 나와야 되는데.
Yes.
All right, this is where rubber meets the road.
So you have to talk with actions.
그렇죠.
So for example, the public survey shows that the candidate from a conservative side will win this year's presidential election. But it's actually the election day when the rubber meets the road. You never know who will be the next president until you open it.
This is very true. You never really know. Exciting, that the 2024 presidential election is quickly coming up, and I guess we'll see how rubber meets the road on both sides as well. But you know, sometimes some candidates are good. But then 이런 표현도 쓸 수 있는 candidate도 좀 있는 것 같아요.
그쵸, 그쵸. 그래서 뭐 진짜로 뭐라고 해야 될까? 진짜 우리가 그때가 될 때까지 알 수 없으니까
그렇죠.
바로 이제 그때 이제 진가를 발휘하다 혹은 그때 결판이 나다, 승부가 나다라고
맞아요.
또 할 수 있겠죠.
네네. Taking a look at the next expression. This one's a pretty fun one. 근데 I've never really used it or heard about it before.
Yeah, me neither. And it's actually a very old saying, or should I say, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. 이게 직역을 하면요, 지옥으로 가는 길은 선의로 포장되어 있다. It's paved with good, something good. However, in the end, you're anyway going to hell.
왠지 와닿아요. like
그쵸.
불쌍한 것 같기도 하고. Means you good intentions. 좋게 하려고 했는데 결국에는 지옥으로 가면은.
그렇죠. 그게 우리가 항상 살아가면서 좋은 뜻으로 무언가를 한다고 해서 그게 꼭 좋은 결과로 이어지는 건 아닙니다.
맞아요.
So, 다시 말하자면 우리가 현실에서는 좋은 의도만으로 좋은 결과를 낼 수는 없다는 뜻입니다. Rather, sometimes if you do certain actions or certain words with good intentions, but in the end, it can turn out as a catastrophe.
Right.
네, for example, the doctor thought that if he offers a cheap healthcare fee, then poor people would be able to be cured and treated. But as time went on, the poor people took his generosity for granted and visited hospital anytime they want. Making other patients wait long hours for their checkups. This is truly a road to hell. Is paved with good intentions. It's a perfect example.
Yeah, you know, there's one story. This is true story인데요. 옛날에 미국 정부, 이제 미국에 쥐가 너무 많았어요. There were so many rats in the States. And so they came up with the idea. The government said, okay, if anybody brings a dead rat, kills a rat and brings it in, then we'll give them $1. And so people will start catching the mice and the rats, and they would, give it to the government, and they would get like $10, $20. 이 정도 벌 수 있잖아요.
So it's like a competition.
Of course. But then, of course, some people, 잔머리를 조금 쓴 사람은, if you start farming mice and rat, it's actually cheaper to farm them and then turn them in, and then you get a profit. And then that ended up being like a bigger, epidemic of mice and rats. And so 그것도, it's a road to hell is paved with good intentions.
Yeah,
What started as a good idea.
Yeah, because there are always those cunning
Yes.
people who try to make benefits out of those kind of difficulties, which makes me sad
Yeah,
sometimes.
definitely. You really, doesn't benefit the people who really needs the help.
그래서 이게 뭐 말씀하신 것처럼 여기 제가 방금 말씀드린 예도 알겠지만 이게 우리가 호의나 선의를 계속 베푼다고 해서 그 사람이 감사합니다라고 여기지 않을 때가 있다는 거죠. 뭐 한국말에서는 호의가 계속되면 그게 권리인 줄 안다라는 뜻이 있는데, so if you receive a lot of good stuff or benefits, then you think that that's actually your right, or that's like a must that you have.
Sure, it's an entitlement.
Right. 그래서 이게 어떻게 보면 그런 말 있잖아요. You have to use both the stick and the carrot라고 하잖아요.
Yeah.
당근과 채찍을 같이 사용해야 된다라고도 하죠. 제가 실제로 학교에서도 학생들을 가르치는데,
맞아요.
근데 제가 느낀 게 학생들한테 또 너무 칭찬만 해주고 너무 잘한다고 하면 이 친구들이 또 말을 안 들어요. They get spoiled. 그래서 sometimes I have to pick up the whip, hit them
Smack
hard.
them around a
smack
little
them
bit.
around.
Yeah, it's very true. 그래서 제 친오빠도 이제 학교 선생님, 담임 선생으로 일하고 있는데 자기의 오피니언은 애초에 그냥 엄격한 선생님으로 조금 심어주고, 그런 뭐라고 해야 되나, impression을 심어주고 그 다음에 조금 풀리는 역할을 하면서 약간 칭찬을 하고 하는 게 훨씬 더
Yeah, that's
좋은 거예요.
actually a very good tactic.
Yeah.
그러니까 처음부터 너무 잘해주면 안 돼요.
못해요. So if you become strict towards the end, they won't listen.
Right.
Yeah.
But you have to be strict in the first place
Yep.
and then be nice in
Yeah,
the end.
right. But I mean, I guess we're just all kids. Just goes to show.
Right.
애나 어른이나 we all need carrots and sticks. Is that what it is?
Yes, that's right.
There you go. Let's take a look at our last expression here.
Sure. The last expression is water under the bridge. Now, it means something that has already passed away, 이미 지나간 일이라고 한국어에서는 해석할 수 있겠죠. So this expression refers to events that already passed away so that it's all forgotten, something that should be left behind in one page of your past. 그래서 과거의 한 페이지로 남겨둘 수 있는 그런 이미 과거의 일, 지나간 일이라고 할 수 있습니다. For example, when I first came to the United States, I had trouble learning English and culture. But it has now all become water under the bridge because now I'm totally used to my life here. I'm really enjoying my life in the States. 이렇게 하면은 제가 처음에 실제 이야기인데 제가 처음에 미국에 갔을 때 영어가 너무 안 돼가지고 어려웠어요. 한 6개월 정도 I really struggled a lot.
와, 6개월이 너무 짧은데.
But luckily I was really young back then, so somehow I got to manage learn English really fast.
Right.
근데 어쨌든 그 6개월간 뭐 수업을 들었는데 알아듣지도
그쵸.
못하겠고 뭐 주변에 친구들이 말을 거는데 무슨 말인지도 잘 모르겠고 그래서 그때 막 눈치를 키웠어요. 엄청. 눈치를 키워서 이게 저런 뜻이구나 이런 식으로 이해를 하다가 어느 순간부터 이제 so I became somewhat comfortable with English. 그래서 이제 좀 1년 지나고 나니까 yeah, those hard times have all passed away. They were all water under the bridge.
Water under the bridge. 이미 지난 일, 지나간 일. It's, I guess, somewhat of an uplifting phrase as well. It gives you a little bit positivity and say, you know what? 지나간 일이니까 너무 염려하지 말고
Right.
look forward to the future.
And this too shall pass.
This too shall pass. Wise words indeed. Well, in any case, 사이먼님 덕분에 너무 즐거운 알찬 시간을 보냈습니다. Definitely learned a lot. We'll have to say goodbye here, but we look forward to meeting you again next week. 다음 주에
Goodbye.
봬요. We'll leave you guys with our last song. Here is Elton John, Goodbye Yellow Brick Road.